Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to League of Europe. We are here tonight for Division 1. It is season number 8. It is round 7 of the Championship. And as you can tell by our thumbnail tonight, we are home, finally, at the Silverstone Grand Prix. Of course, the British Grand Prix from the Silverstone International Circuit. My name is James Head. Going to be taking to the stream, of course, as always, on this fine Saturday evening. And joining me in the comment box, as always, it is Mr. QVR Killer. Killer, how you doing?
I am doing tremendously well. I'm shattered, but I'm excited for some D1 action. We had, I think you'll agree with me, the best race of the season last week. Absolute stonking race at Singapore. All sorts going on. So hopefully we get some more of the same this evening.
Hopefully so. Obviously, there has been a few, let's just say, difficult stewarding decisions obviously being given out recently, of course, after the race. Some difficult opinions as well in the chat. As I said in the Discord, if anybody wasn't aware of what I said in the Discord about that, respect has to be commanded no matter where you are. And I think if you're not commanding that respect, you're not commanding the support, unfortunately, of your drivers and of your stewards as well, who I'm sure have done a very good job in terms of giving out the incident and obviously trying to make sure that, of course, the action is as good as possible for you guys at home and for the guys, of course, out on track as well. So anybody that wants to question the integrity of the stewards, basically, if you want to question them, get out of the league. Simple as that. And I'm literally just going to start off that stream by saying that because it has got on my wick the last 24 hours or so. As you can tell by our thumbnail as well, of course, it has been a very difficult week here in the UK. Not only because we had a new Prime Minister obviously come in and a new government, but also for the death of our legendary monarch, of course, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, who passed away sadly on Thursday evening at the age of 96. Now, she spent 70 years on the throne, on the reign of our country, and basically had the controls of her country at her fingertips. And that is the sort of woman that we've all come to love and know, no matter if you haven't met her, no matter if obviously you have met her as well. But she just commanded that respect, I think, in terms of her public service and in terms of her life. And of course, all of our thoughts here at League of Europe are with her very close the royal family, and of course, her very close friends and confidants and colleagues, of course, at this very, very sad time. And Killer, unfortunately, I've never had the opportunity of meeting the Queen. I'm not sure if you have. Don't think you would have, though.
No, I haven't, but she has met and I'm sure enchanted a great many people. I mean, I'm not a royalist myself, I'm not a monarchist, but I do have tremendous respect for the Queen's, what did Charles say, devotion to the UK. And she has, been abroad however many times, been so many visits, patron of so many charities. She's done great work for the country, and she deserves our respect, whether you're a royalist, whether you're British or not.
Yeah, definitely. So no matter what of your opinion towards the monarchy, no matter like the Prime Minister, of course, at the age of 19, who wanted to abolish the monarchy, of course, she will forever go in our hearts as a public servant. Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, of course, 70 years on the reign for Queen and for country. Coming into tonight, then obviously we have got the standings from last week, and it is of course Connor who took the win. Izza in second. Gary got promoted up to third as well in the AlphaTauri, who did get that podium from that race, of course, in Singapore last week. Yildirim, Wouter, Gladbach, Montana got dropped down to seventh as a result of track limit extensions. Maledictus, Dan in ninth, with Verstappen there round off the top 10. Montana leading the way on 129 points. Connor on his coattails, 3 wins in a row, 75 points there in second now. Wouter there in third on 70 points. Rudy in fourth on 57. Then Pease in fifth on 45. Gary in sixth on 43. Yildirim in seventh on 39. Campbell in eighth on 33. Izza there in ninth on 32. And then Packer there in 10th on 28 points. And of course, Montana has got the lead of the championship. Of course, no quarrels about obviously what happened in Singapore. Connor, though, I think Montana may be worried by the man in his own team, who, of course, is commanding so far the results out on track.
I think I get the feeling Montana may be slightly rattled. I think we saw that in Singapore once he had that spin. One thing started to go wrong. It unraveled a little bit for him. We saw a 3-second penalty as well, which was most uncharacteristic. Singapore isn't the typical track where you pick up penalties because the curbs are so high. And that was just, I think, a sign that Montana was, he's not completely rattled, but, when things don't go his way, they can unravel a little bit. And it does also make you feel about where we could have been in an alternate reality where Connor hadn't posted 3 blanks in the first 3 races. We could be talking about a very different situation right now. Montana still has a 54-point lead in the championship we can't neglect, but Connor, as you say, very much is firing now. He's on the hunt, he's on the charge, but it's a monumental gap he's got to overcome to claw his way up to Montana. We've still got 11 races to go, so anything can happen. But those first few races made it very, very hard for Connor.
Yeah, definitely so. But 3 wins in a row, though, and going into form at his home race as well. I think that is something to watch out for. Quite clearly, of course, out on track here tonight. I think the drivers have just been given the go-ahead, by the way, to start in the lobby. So we're going to have a look at the track map in question. 5.8 kilometres and then 3.6 mile, of course, around the Silverstone International Circuit. 18 turns, the 2 DRS zones, of course, 1 down at the Hangar Straight and 1 down the Wellington Straight, of course, down in towards turn 6, and then the Hangar Straight, of course, down in towards turn number 15. Plenty of opportunities for overtaking. Dare I say the 2 words that I think is going to be for the guys out on track? DRS train.
Silverstone, D1, DRS train, sort of synonymous with each other, really. I mean, we get a lot of DRS trains in D1 anyway, but I think this track particularly, it's very easy to follow, a lot of high speed. It's snaky. We don't have the heavy braking zones where you can try and force an overtake. We don't have, for example, the chicanes we had at Monza a couple of weeks ago. You've really got an opportunity into Stowe, possibly, and another one into Brooklands. But you don't have a heavy braking zone unless you're fancying a little cheeky send up the inside of Vale into Club. But yeah, it's I think unless we see some wet weather, which British autumn, not beyond the realms possibility, I think we could see a long sort of heavy slugfest DRS train of a race, as you say.
Yeah, well, I can report certainly from my location here in the north of England, it is rain, unfortunately. So I think that might just be a sign of things to come potentially out on track. Normally, the northern curse comes in here around Britain. Whenever it rains here, normally rains out on track, and hopefully that's not going to be the case as we now, of course, transfer into the lobby. And there you go. It's beautiful blue sky and sunshine. Never in doubt in terms of the weather forecast. Everyone's going to be, of course, on a set of soft compound tyre in this qualifying session as well. We would expect Montana to be one of the first men out on track, that is for certain. And looking at the field, obviously, we have got a few reserves, though, in tonight. I believe Coxey is obviously the teammate of Montana in tonight as well. And there is one more that is befalling me. I'm not sure who the other reserve is.
Let me have a check. And it is a dry race as well.
Lolvicar, I think.
Yes, Lolvicar. Yes.
Oh, Nathan. Oh, no, it's Nathan, is it?
Oh yeah, Nathan's been promoted. That's what I forgot to mention. Nathan, after a P3 finish last week, which should have been a win, but for the wrong strategy with the rain, Nathan has been promoted to Division 1 after a very commanding performance at Singapore. But I think it's just Coxey that has joined us this week from the reserves.
Well, Nathan, the promoted driver, of course, from Division 2, has, of course, been doing well there in Division 2 this season, is the first man out on track, and he's been followed by the Alpine. I think that might be commentators, potentially. No, commentators is actually not out of the pit lane just yet, so I think it's Packer and the Alpine who is second out on track as well. Montana beaten this time in terms of getting out on track first. Nathan, though, another one at his home track, does tend to do badly at Britain, if I can put it this way. Of course, Silverstone not being his favourite track. How do you rate his chances coming in tonight, obviously, with that promotion from Division 2?
I think he's a bit of an unknown quantity this timed rain, much like Singapore. He wasn't there at Kota. Should have won Miami, but a safety car misfortune befell him there. Did win at Monza. I feel like there's another race I'm missing, but he's been outstanding in Division 2. I can only see him doing the same Division 1. I certainly think, he won 4 races last season. I wouldn't put him past challenging for podiums if he can find his feet quickly.
Yeah, well, that's right on both of them. Coming through the right-hander of turn number 1 at Abbey, through the left-hander of turn number 2 at Farm, and then, of course, in towards the right-hander of turn number 3 at Village, of course, and then in towards one of my favourite sections out of the track. Through the loop, getting the exit out of there, that is so good as now we come through Aintree Corner, of course, hosting now down the Wellington Straight, formerly an airfield, of course, Silverstone in World War II, and down the Wellington Straight, named after, of course, the Wellington Bombers in World War II, that was flown, of course, by the RAF. Now coming through Brooklands and Luffield, through the right hand of Luffield, and then down the Old Pit Straight, down through Wooker Corner, the former final corner, and then on the former run towards turn number 1 at Cops. Now turn number 9, of course, out on track. They now fly through Cops at 175 miles an hour, maintained there from Nathan as he comes through the section of Maggots and then Beckett's, and then, of course, down through Chapel into the Hangar Straight, into Stowe Corner, and then all the way down towards Vale and Club. Through the middle sector, Nathan looking quick, 103.3, should see 102, sub 102s potentially towards the end of the session, 102.9 maybe in the middle sector there, but Nathan now coming through the right-hander of Stowe. And then on the downhill run in towards Vale and Club, Verstappen and Vettel famously made contact there, of course. And then we saw through goes Hamilton in 2022 around here as well, through Vale and Club for the first time on board with Nathan on the run to the line. 27th lap to start off the night. Not a bad lap at all, but I think we will get more improvements further up the field as Montana's coming around the final corner. A bit squirrely on the run to the line. Montana doesn't go quickest. Nathan out on top. Campbell now out on top though. 26.9. Nathan then second, Montana in third.
It was slicking between Montana and Nathan all the way through that lap to see the sector times. Wouter goes quickest with a 26.8. Montana, it wasn't just that squirrely moment in Sector 3. Sectors 1 and 2, inseparable, himself and Nathan. Montana only had a couple of hundreds in hand, so yeah, that was Montana's pace, and when I was on board, I didn't see any dramas, so Montana's got a fight on his hands.
He has got a fight in his hands, especially so. 4 drivers ahead of him currently in the session, and with a 3.5 gap basically to make up to Wouter, he's going to struggle to make that gap up. Brendan now for the Irish coming through the right-hander of Club Corner, through the final corner on the run to the line. 27.6 there from the Irishman. Coxey there in 11th now as Yilbrium, I think, has just gone third. Very good lap there at all. And Pease has just spun coming through Stowe. So Pease spinning, coming through Stowe. Very slow speed spin, actually. He tried to recover the car, I think, coming out the corner. And Pease is round Rocco, who does like this track as well. He's on the run toward the line, coming through Vale, and then through Club Corner at turn 18. Down the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight, of course, that is now known. The home straight, 27.4 from Rocco, and he goes into 12th position. But it's right around on top. Campbell second, Yilbrium in third. Montana now down in 6th position, the championship leader. And Connor, at this moment in time, is down all the way in 15th. But I believe he's going to be on another lap very soon indeed as he comes now into the pit lane.
Yeah, it's an interesting first run. What's... Oh, Lulbercar's retired there. What's very different about Silverstone now compared to how it was in the previous game? The track feels a lot more low grip this game on 22 compared to 2021 and 2020. It doesn't feel quite like the free ride it used to be. It was a very easy track that everyone loved. Some of the traction zones here are really tricky, and I think Pease illustrated that nicely with that spin out of Stowe. Stowe is one where the rear can let go. The last double corner through Club, again, really low traction. You can feel the rear wanting to let go all the way through. You've got to be so hesitant and gentle on the throttle. Coming out of turn 4 and 5 as well onto Wellington Straight, really tricky. And I think we could see a couple of other those sorts of mistakes we saw from Pease where the rear just snaps away on someone. Even in the race as well on the hard tyres, it's really twitchy out there. It's not, said, the free ride it used to be. And I think that's shown in some of the lap times there. We've got a bigger spread than you might expect from Silverstone usually, with Dylan downwards really not having super quick laps on the board.
Yeah, so far so good. White out on top, Campbell in second, Yilbrium there in third. I promise, by the way, that is not Jake's kids there in the background shouting. I think it might be one of his neighbours potentially in the background there. Terrible, but still, background noise we can cope with, of course, here in the commentary box. Nathan there in 5th, currently now on an out lap. He's the first one to come back on that lap. I'm going to take my attention though to Connor, down in 15th position, 31.6, normally quite strong around here in Britain, at his home track, of course, likewise with Nathan, likewise with many of our drivers, of course, here tonight as well. Just to bring up the speed as well on what Rudy and Mulvicar have done, we were informed that they both had qualifying bans, so that is why Rudy and Mulvicar are out the session, and that is why, obviously, they picked up a qualifying ban, I think from last week in Singapore or from the week before, and obviously they had qualifying bans and they are obviously out the session. Connor though, 15th position, 31.6, he's got a 54 point advantage to obviously try and gain on the back of Montana to try and overtake him for the race, and he obviously won't do it here tonight, but if he can put the lap in, he should go quickest, I think.
I think it's certainly within him. I mean, the good thing for Connor is, I mentioned those 3 races early in the season, is that the walls are quite far back here, which is nice. So if he does make a mistake, it's unlikely to end his day. There on his outlap into Stowe, he just caught the outside curb, had a big moment coming in. But yeah, I think Connor's, as you said earlier on, he's the absolute quickest driver in this division right now. There's no question of that in my mind. He had the upper hand over Montana at Miami. He had the upper hand at Singapore. He's not happy, is he, Connor? Look at that starting the lap. Big moment, and he was in 3rd or 4th gear.
Yeah, huge moment indeed. Apologies, by the way, if you all had experienced a few Wi-Fi issues on my end, certainly. Has just dropped a few frames there, so might have not seen, or might not heard, certainly, what Mr. Killer was going on about there. But he was basically on about Connor potentially has got that lap, of course, in him in full pole position. 31.6 is oversteering setup, though. I think now is going to be, of course, the concern, because he can't change the setup, obviously. Park Fem is obviously on in this session, but a 27.4 in the first sector is actually not too bad. Of course, we were on board with, who was it? It was Nathan, I think, on board with the lap, and that was a 27.6 from the first sector. So Connor already basically 2 tenths up on Nathan, coming out of Luffield, on the run now through Woodcut, on the run down in towards Cups at turn number 9. Nathan, I think, was on the lap ahead of him as well, if I'm not mistaken. He's coming through in towards Maggots and Beckett. In fact, actually, he's backed off. He's passed him out on track. So, Nathan backing off there. We're going back on board with Connor, and he's just in Ballard coming through Cups, I think.
Yeah. He ran wide out of Cups, only millimetres in it, but yeah, unlucky Connor. He just snuck a wheel over that right line. Cox is on a good first sector. 27.4, he's a couple of tenths up as well. Is anyone else that I can see improving? Not right now. I think it's just Coxie who's coming through the middle sector right now. Yeah,
Coxie hopefully not going to be in the bad books, of course, compared to Montana last week, which is why some of the what's the word I'm looking for? Some of the anger was directed towards the stewards. Let's just face it there. Coxie, though, coming through the right-hander of Maggots, then through, of course, Beckett, and then, of course, out of Chapel, down the hanger straight, and coming through the middle sector. 103.4 in that middle sector. 3.5 tenths up. Says purple in the middle sector, but I don't think he actually is on a lap. I think Montana just came through the first sector there as well. Campbell, though, goes quickest. 26.7. Good lap there from him. The Scotsman, of course. Right there in second. You'll be there in third, but Coxie was still on board with them. Coming in toward the final couple of corners. Looks a decent lap, actually, from Coxie. May go around your own Verstappen, Dillon, that sort of area. If he goes quicker than Montana, I'll be very pleased, but he doesn't. 27.4, 3,000 of a second ahead of Rocco. Not sure if there's anybody else on lap, as Verstappen has just spun, coming out of Chapel.
Jules Bream's 400s up at the end of Sector 2. He's just got the last couple of corners to navigate. You've got to be so hesitant on the throttle when you put it down through there. As I said, he does improve, only 200s, but he is lowers that bar in the 26.9s. Montana, though, on a big lap, James.
Yeah, he is indeed. 2.5 tenths up out of the middle sector, coming through Stowe. A little bit twitchy coming out of Stowe into a Valen Club. Has he got pole position potentially within him here? Campbell out on top, right in second, and catching the curve there. Will say my question to that is no. Montana in the end does improve. He goes third, and even with a bit of a squirrely moment, I think he can find another tenth of a second at that final sector at least. As I waited there in second, Buron, I think,
on
just
a
in
huge
fifth.
lap. Sorry, cut across you, James. That's on a huge lap, a 102.9 through the middle sector, and he's dropped it through Stowe. That was pole position, provisionally at least, in the bag for Izzat, the first 2 sectors. But like peas, dropping it at Stowe there.
Yeah, it is so, obviously, coming out of Stowe, it is so obviously difficult to get the throttle basically on the car, and that is why Izzat, I think, has just applied too much throttle at the wrong time, and there with the 27 flat, he's still in 7th position. Jekyll, by the way, went 6th as well. Good lap from him there, of course, the hometown hero once again. There's many hometown heroes coming into tonight. Commentated, I think, has just improved as well to a 27.2, so not about that, but all there for my regular WR co-commentator. Campbell out on top, Wagner in second, Montana there in third, Yilvim there in fourth with 6 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Connor, once again, is on an out lap. He's determined to get a lap time in. 31.6 currently, 18th position. I'm going to watch quickly on board with him because, honestly, I have a feeling he might go quickest with this lap. We believe in Connor.
We do indeed. I mean, he's gone out at the right time, because if he messes up this lap, he has got time to go in at the end of his flying lap if he does go invalid and use his 4th set of soft tyres. So he has still got another chance if this one doesn't go his way.
Yeah, let's run and bolt them once again. No bias, by the way, shown towards Connor on these laps, I do promise. Campbell out on top, right to second. Montana in third, Connor out of Abbey through Farm. There was a yellow flag. That was a Haas round. I think that might be P's round, actually, on a lap 27.1, currently his best. Won't obviously be improving through that middle sector, and he's back off his lap. As now Connor comes through the village section, through the loop, and then through Aintree Corner on the run down, of course, down the Wellington Straight. Aintree Corner, by the way, did you know the Aintree Grand Prix used to be held before there was a time before Formula 1, after the 1940s, and that is why it is named Aintree Corner, and now plays host to the Grand National, if nobody knew that. Campbell out on top, right for second. Montana there in third. Connor, though, with a good first sector. 27.3 in the first sector, toward the low end of the 27.3s as well. Now the Aston Martin man is coming up in towards Copse Corner at turn number 9. And flies through there, 175 mile an hour again, but he again invalidates on the exit of Copse. Minimal run over the curb, but it's enough to give him an invalidation. These track limits are catching him out.
They are. You'd think after the last one, he'd know 102.9 through the middle. It's such a good lap from Connor. But you think after the last one, he'd know. Just lift off a tiny bit more, shave off a couple of extra kph, and just keep it in play. And then oh, he's finishing the lap though. He's going to go again on this set of tyres. I think. Or has he got time to do an in-lap and go back out again? It's such a long pit lane here. Because you can cut the inside of the last corner when you're coming into the pits, it holds you to 37 miles an hour, 60 kph. It's a very long pit lane. I'm surprised Connor thinks he's got time to go around and go again. Unless he's going again, but he's going to run out of hers on this lap anyway.
He will do, but then again, he runs out of fuel. He'll have about 2 minutes to get back into the pit lane. It's going to be really close. I don't think this is actually maybe his final run that he's actually committing on. And he's got a 3 laps. He wants to try and obviously get no distractions in him. He's down in the first sector compared to last time at 10th down. I think, honestly, if I was Connor, I'd probably come in the pit lane at this point. Campbell out on top, right to there in second. Montana there currently in third. Michael Massey, by the way, in the chat. I saw this coming before we came live. Rubbing hands together. Right, lads, let's see what happens today, shall we? Yes, indeed. Montana, by the way, third position, currently the championship leader. Connor, who was in second in the championship, is just invalidated once again. I think Yildirim, however, has just started up on the lap coming through turn number 1 at Abbey.
He has indeed. So let's have a look at Jewelry. Let's see what we can do. He's in the 26 club. Only 4 drivers there right now. Oh no, we've got 6 drivers in the 26 club. Shout out to J. Cole. It's going to be his best qualifying season. That's nice and tidy from Jewelry through the first complex of corners. Let's see where he goes through the first sector. You want to be aiming for a 27.3 here if you want to mix it with the big boys. And he's 200s down, but he's still very much in the right ballpark. 5th gear through Brooklyn. You drop it down. Well, I would drop it down into 3rd gear, quickly pick it up into 4th. Jewelry stays in 5th all the way through. Doesn't kiss the curb too much on the inside. It can rotate the car a little more than you need to. Cuts Woodlands as much as he can without picking up the warning. Then you want to downshift in 7th, flick it in. Don't do what Connor does. Use all of the curb, but not too much, because you will invalidate. And then flick it in through Maggots and Beckett's. Don't touch the orange curbs. They're lethal. Downshift again into 6th as you approach Chapel, and then again into 5th. Hug the left inside line. You'll see the little yellow lines there where the cars are going over the dirt. Lost another 200 in the middle sector, has Jewelry, but this is still a very good lap if you can get sector 3 in. Steers a little way clear of the apex, but then, like his teammate earlier on, lets the rear end go. The 3rd driver that's happened to, and he'll pick up some real wing damage there as well. And that is the first of our final laps, and it's ruined.
The American of Packer is just starting up on a lap as well, through Abbey and Farm. Hopefully, Anton Cordial might be in play here for Packer down in 8th position. 27 flat currently on his lap. Isn't there with a 27 flat dead on in 7th position? So it's obviously got to try and gain 200ths of a second to join that 26 club. Campbell out on top, right to second. Montana there in 3rd. Many drivers now starting on their laps. Packer 27.4 in the first sector, slightly down through the first sector. The middle sector, though, is the one where you can gain all the time. Yildirim has retired out on track as well. I think Pease maybe has just slowed down coming out of Abbey, through Abbey and Fob. Through Copse Corner there at turn number 9. And speaking of slowing down, Packer's back off his lap as well.
Nathan's improving, though. He's 85 1,000s up through the first sector. And with a 27.0, he can be another one to join the 26 club. I think we will see a few names there by the end of the session. It's hard to invalidate here unless your name's NSX Connor. And almost cutting Copse Corner there. That was beautiful from Nathan. Let's see where he is as he comes through the middle sector split. You want to be so gentle and precise with the inputs here. If you make too many corrections, you're just going to mess this whole complex up. Each corner flows into the next one. You need to be silky and precise. And a 103.2. Nathan's on a great lap here.
I thought he was going to get a slipstream there. I thought it was his teammate in front of him. It's actually Packer backing off the lap. Nathan, though, is improving. Nearly a tenth of a second up in that middle sector. Now coming through the final sector in toward Vale and Club. Campbell, Wouter, Montana, all the top three currently on their laps as well. Nathan, though, around the final corner on the run to line. May go into the 26ers here, but he actually backs off. Actually does improve. He goes fourth. That was so far offline. He gets fourth position. I don't believe it. Montana, 27-2. First sector. Wouter's responding first sector as well. 200s up, 27-3. Campbell's at the end of the middle sector and he's 500s up. So right on board with Campbell first, then go on board with Montana, then go on board with Wouter, as obviously I think Nathan just backing off his lap there coming through the final sector. But now Campbell, the Scotsman, looking to be Campbell, King of Scots, here tonight as we now come through in towards Cup's corner. Izza goes quickest, 26.6. Where's that one come from? From the Singapore man. And now Campbell comes to the line, doesn't go quick as he has a snap of oversteer, doesn't improve. Montana's only 700s up in the middle sector as well. Huge lap from the Singaporean. And now Montana, the Swiss, has got 2 tenths to gain. He can gain a tenth there though after that final lap last time. Montana through the final corner on the run to the line, goes quickest, 26.6. But has anybody got it in him? Wouter, 103 flat, is up in the middle sector. The Ferrari now coming in toward the final couple of corners. Great qualifying session. This is in Silverstone. Wouter now around the final corner on the run to the line. Can he try and improve? Wouter to the line. No, he goes third and he's only 1100ths of a second off. Is a very good lap from him. Nathan's backed off. Euronic to the line doesn't improve. Packer is up by 300ths of a second, so watch out for him. Dylan on a lap as well. He's backed off. Verstappen's backed off, so it's only Packer, I think, on a lap as well as Connor, who I think is in the first sector, or he's in the final sector, coming through the final couple of corners. Packer, though, all the run to the line, goes ninth still, doesn't improve, and Connor on a run is coming into the final couple of corners. This now, pole position potentially for Connor, round the final corner, the Aston Martin on the run to the line. Second, Wouter there in third. Just to repeat that, as we lost you there slightly on the stream, Montana out on top, Izza there in second, Wouter there in third. What a lap time. Cometh the man, cometh the hour, Montana delivers just.
He does indeed, and he has a knack for it, doesn't he? I always say he's Verstappen-esque, and he pulled that one out of absolutely nowhere, did Montana. I thought Izza had that in the bag. I was watching Campbell's lap. Campbell had a very scruffy sector 3. Even Montana did a little bit. He went a little bit deep into Vale and still managed to pull it out. I think that was just who could hold their nerve. I think every single driver involved knew that the good 5 or 6 drivers could have taken pole position there at the end, but it had to be, didn't it? It had to be Montana. Connor, if that was his second lap on that set of tyres, did very well. Do not rule him out of that race if that was his best effort on his last run when he didn't have a time on the board with some old tyres. That was a cracking lap from Connor.
Montana certainly shut me up though, certainly in the commentary box after my going in a little bit earlier on. Montana out on top from Izza there in second, Wouter there in third, Campbell there in fourth, Connor in fifth, a tenth of a second covering the top 5, and then you've got a tenth and a half covering from 5th to 6th between Connor there and Nathan, who's in 6th. Yilbrim in 7th, Eurona in 8th, J. Cole, good qualifying session from him in 9th, Packer there in 10th, and Dylan Verstappen, Pease comments from Rocco, top 15. Maledictus Coxey, Brendan Olsen in lap times, and of course Rudy and Mulvicar having qualifying bands right at the back of the field. Of course, formation lap is going to be coming up very soon indeed. Hopefully you guys are all enjoying the stream. I can see 34 of you, I think, in the stream as well. Hopefully we've got some Mulvicar fans there in the chat as well. Just trying to see if there's anybody looking at the chat. No, nothing really happening. But once again, beautiful bright skies, blue skies and sunshine. And that is exactly what we ordered. Certainly better than up here in the north.
It is indeed, because I think a wet race could have been the last thing that qualifying session needed. I think we're going to have a super tense, tactical ERS battle. I think with 5, 6 drivers in the running for this win, just from qualifying, the lap you pit is going to be so crucial. The tyre you pick at the start of the race is going to be so crucial. Your teammate is going to be so crucial. This is set up perfectly to have a proper 3 or 4, even 5-way fight for the win. Because so far this season, we've seen Montana by himself, and we've seen Montana versus Connor, and we had a bit of Montana versus Wouter at Kota. We've got a chance now to have multiple drivers in the fight for this win, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be Montana and Izza on the front row of the grid, of course, looking at the strategies that everyone has gone on. Ooh, interesting. I thought many drivers would have gone for a set of medium compounded tyres around here, but they haven't. Montana on a set of mediums, Connor on a set of mediums, along with Nathan and Yildirim also on a set of mediums. They're all in the top 10 on that compound attire. Verstappen there in 12th is the only one out of the top 10 on that set of medium compound attires there. The Dutchman hoping to prove, of course, like Verstappen, he can do pretty much mid-pack to first challenge like he did, of course, a few races ago in real life. Coxey and Lolvacar on a sort of soft compound attire, which is very interesting indeed. They can only make around 7 or 8 laps around here, and then obviously transition, you would imagine, to a set of hard compound attires towards the end of the race. Interesting strategy calls, though, I think, certainly, from the medium runners, because they're in a bit of halfway house. Are they going to get beyond 13, 14 laps? That is going to be the real key.
I don't think it's in terms of strategy, I don't think there's too much between the medium hard and the hard medium. I think, I'm not sure, I am guessing to an extent, but I think the stop lap is around the same for medium hard. They can go about halfway. The softs, I don't know what Lolvacar's thinking. I can only assume he's trying to compensate for a poor qualifying. But Coxey swore to me before I popped in the comms box that he was starting on softs by hook or by crook, and so he is, a man of his word. Montana's doing his usual. He'll know everyone behind him go hard. Hard medium has been generally the preferred strategy this season. Montana will bank on the hard speed nice and slow, and he can do a scamper away, his classic run and hide in the first 2 laps, and just build up enough of a gap to survive the second half of the race. But the 2 Ferraris next to each other, they've got a real golden chance here to work together. I'm surprised they've not split their strategies though.
Yeah, very interesting, I think. Certainly Wouter you would have expected to go set of mediums rather than Izzo. I think he'll probably be the quicker driver over the 2, potentially at the start of the race. Connor, watch out for him. If he's not second by the end of lap 1, his race is pretty much over from the end of lap 1 onwards, because if he doesn't get past Campbell, doesn't get past Wouter, doesn't get past Izzo on the end of lap 1, he is going to really, really struggle. And of course, if there's a big old DRS train and Montana scampers up the road by 1.5 seconds at the end of lap 1, pretty much game over, and everyone may as well retire and go home. But it's Montana out on top, Izzo alongside him. There's the run down in towards turn 1 on board with Montana. There's the run down in towards turn 1 on board with Izzo. He's of course on the inside line, so the dirtier line out on track according to where the dirt is and where obviously the marbles are on the right hand side of the track as well. We better get going here in Silverstone once again. Lights out in 5 red lights are now on, and it is light and away we go, and a great start by Montana. He'll lead off the line, and Izzo's got a very slow start, and White could be alongside him in towards Abbey at turn number 1. It goes side by side through. Connor gets caught up. Connor into contact. Connor contact, Wouter contact as well as huge. Crash further down the field as well. Verstappen, Packer, Pease, J. Cole, Dillon, all caught up in a separate incident. Montana leads the way. It is in second with Campbell in third. Absolute chaos off the start.
I'm not too sure what happened. I saw Connor hit the back of Wouter, but I think Wouter had another car on his outside. Look at Rudy and Wouter now, side by side, all the way down the straight. It's a drag race towards Brooklands. I don't know if Wouter's got any damage. He'll tuck in behind the Williams. But yeah, Verstappen's plummeted down as well. Carmental now passing Connor, who is missing his entire front wing there. Connor, you said he needed to be in P2 at the end of this first lap, James. He's not going to be in P2. He's going to be down in P20 quite possibly, although Verstappen is completely missing his front wing as well. And J. Cole's had a bad start, and Lolvacar and Maledictus overtake there into Copse Corner. Yeah,
beautiful overtake by Lolvacar. He's doing his into 11. Can we just say, by the way, how Rudy's up into 9th position from 19th on the grid. 10 position gains from Rudy, from the Talon Factory man. Coxey, by the way, is now on the back of your own, and he is the 6th position off the start as well. Coxey is absolutely threaded the eye of the needle, torching the Red Sea like Moses. He's now doing his into 6th as well on your own, and Rudy obviously gaining 10 positions off the start as well. As Lolvacar all over the back of Wouter, of course, struggled coming through the first couple of corners. Lolvacar around the outside, now for the inside line through Club Corner, and I think he's going to get this job done coming through Club Corner on the inside line. The Spaniard through and he's into 10. Nice move there. But what I said was true. Montana, 1.5 seconds clear at the end of lap 1. Is 11 second. Campbell in 3rd. Nathan in 4th. Yildirim in 5th. Looking at the positions gains though. Coxey up 11. Rudy up 10. Lolvacar up 10. What on earth happened on lap 1 for them to gain that many positions?
I want to see some POVs of lap 1. I need to see like 6 or 7 different POVs there, because that seemed crazy. I was on the T-cam, so I got a very poor view of absolutely everything, but certainly the soft tyres have delivered on their promise, haven't they? 21 places combined for our 2 soft runners. And I think the best thing, you mentioned Montana's run away 1.6 seconds. The best thing is that Campbell, Nathan Yildirim. The best thing they can do now is work together. They do not need to fight each other right now. Let the DRS come, follow each other around, have as minimal disruption as they can to their pace. As look at that, Coxie going all the way off at Cop's corner there.
Yeah, Nathan had a side slide as well coming out of Cops. I thought he might have been going in towards a half spin. He corrected it though just before he did, as Campbell's on the back of Izza, the Scotsman, on the back of the Singaporean on the rundown in towards the right-hander, of course, of Stowe corner at turn number 15. Montana leads the way though, 2 seconds now, the gap over Izza. Campbell there in third, Nathan in fourth, Yilbring there in fifth. Everyone now engrossing into a DRS train. Connor, Pease, Packard and Verstappen all the way, by the way, all got caught in that contact. Connor especially on the back of Wouter. It almost looked like it was a sort of Albon incident. Remembering this year's Grand Prix, British Grand Prix, Albon got collected by 2 cars. It was basically like that. Izza went so slow, I think, through turn number 1. Wouter went so slow as a result as well. He was then 3 wide coming through Albion Farm, and therefore Connor was wrong place, wrong time on the outside line, and that's why the contact was made. Was on board with them. Not sure if that was actually true. Oliver Carr centered on Rudy. What a move this is down the inside, coming through the loop, and beautiful move from Oliver Carr on that set of soft compounder tyre. Walters through on Rudy, the PSGL F3 champion, made to look like an absolute mug into Village.
Olvercar is getting he's got his racing boots on today, hasn't he? Another couple of cracking overtakes from Olvercar. But yeah, what you mentioned about the start, I think that is exactly what it was. Is that the car wants to understeer so much through turn 1 here that when you're pinched up on high fuel on the inside line, the car just wants to wash across the track towards the outside, and there's nothing you can really stop it do from understeering all the way out. And if you've got cars on your outside, it's good night Vienna. But Lolcar is flying towards Rocco, who has already used up all of his ERS here. I think we're going to see another overtake from Lolcar. He's going to make it 12 places gained in less than 3 laps.
Yeah, really impressive stuff, and look at this, Rocco out of DRS range, Lolcar easing past, and Campbell's through on Izza, ran the outside, coming through Stowe. We'll go back on board with that Lolcar move soon, but Campbell ran the outside, gets the move done on Izza. Probably a better move, I've got to be honest there, compared to Lolcar's. Campbell through and he's into second, Izza there down into third, and that now, I think, is exactly what they want. Campbell now in a position where obviously Montana's getting away, Campbell can extend obviously towards the end of the race, the overcut is quite potent on that set of hard compounder tyres as well. I'd honestly want, if I was in that train, I'd want Campbell leading that train, because I know what he is about, and I know, of course, he was in a championship fight last season.
Yeah, I think really, if you're in like Nathan's position or Gilbream's position, you want whoever's quickest at the front of that train. That could well be Nathan. We saw cracking qualifying pace from Izza. Is it going to be enough to translate the race? Rocco is about to get mugged, by the way. He's got some DRS, but he's got Rudy and Wouter so close behind the back of him. He's really going to have a send here into Brooklands. He is indeed. He's up into P9. Rocco's opening misery continues. He's still up 5 places from where he started, but he's now sliding slowly back towards that P15 where I said he did start. And yeah, Campbell is looking good, isn't he? He's pulled away a little bit from Izza on this lap so far, and he's keeping the gap to Montana. It's only extended by a couple of tenths so far on this lap.
Yeah, I think it'll be Maggots and Beckett, though, potentially, where obviously Campbell can obviously gain the time. Ooh. As a result, as falls to Brendan as out coming through Cops, might deploy safety car to VSC. VSC out on track, might get deployed for full safety car given where the location of that accident is. I think though it's only going to be a VSC. It is off track coming out of turn number 9. Have a feeling he's probably got launch on the inside curb, then went round on the outside curb, tried to correct the car, and then he's off on the left-hand side of the wall rather than the right-hand side of the wall. So I think that's probably what happened there. Coxie, I think, is into the pit lane. Olvercar also into the pit lane. They are getting off their set of soft compounder tyres early. And do you know what? I think this might be a stroke of genius from them both, because they're going on, I would assume, onto a set of hard compounder tyres. 22 laps to the end of the race. This is good for Coxie and Olvercar. They've got to rely on this safety, this VSC, though, staying out for the entirety of their troubles in the pit lane. Otherwise, they're going to be in real trouble.
It's really good for them because, well, and it is still staying out. They're going to get nearly the whole pit stop done on the VSC. Even if they've got half the pit stop done, they've gained a lot of time, but they're going to get all of it in just about, I think. This is a very long VSC by F122 standards, and it has worked, as you say, a stroke of fortune, stroke of genius as well. They're fully out onto the track, and they might even be able to get some warm-up into their hard tyres as well. Under VSC, it gets better and better for them.
Still VSC out. I'm on board with Montana. There, VSC though ends, and Montana back up to full racing speed. Still maintains that gap 3.2 seconds coming in towards the Cops corner. Campbell there in second. Izza there in third. Nathan there in fourth position. But yeah, as you said, they're getting warm up into those tyres. Coxie and Olvercar. Obviously, I think if I was Olvercar though, I probably wouldn't be trying to get the move done on Coxie. He goes wide in towards Cops, and exactly what I wanted to see has just happened. Olvercar through on Coxie, round the outside, coming through Brooklands, gets the job done through Luffield, and he's through. He's into 13th position, and clearly Lolvacar has warmed up his tyres probably better than Coxey there.
Should think so. Lolvacar started last, remember. He's a 13th and has made a pit stop. He's in a great position. He could even undercut the likes of Nathan, Izzat and Campbell here, depending how good their pace is on the hards. They've got to work together, though, and we've got another yellow flag there. Is that down at Brooklands? Pease has had some kind of mistake. And Montana, I thought he'd gain a little more on the restart than he has, but only a few tenths of a second. Campbell is keeping him pegged just a little bit, at least, that gap, 3.6.
Yeah, Pease has got right side end plate damage on his car as well. Not sure how he's actually picked up coming through... what corner was it? It was through Brooklands, through Luffield, that sort of area. I think it was through Luffield. Not sure how he's put the right side end plate damage on the car, if I've got to be honest, unless he's made contact with Verstappen. That's the only thing I could think of potentially. Wout and Rocco, by the way, going hammer and tongs down at the Wellington Straight, down in towards Brooklands and this section of the track. And Michael Throoney's into 8th position, so good recovery so far from him in the Ferrari. Of course, Charles Leclerc, if you haven't seen the Grand Prix, his Colin now sets the fastest lap of the race. Should I hold back on who actually went pole position? I've just said his name anyways. It was Charles Leclerc who went pole, of course, in Formula 1 in real life. So if I've just ruined that for you, apologies. And I will obviously tender my resignation now if that is the case. Montana out on top, Campbell there in second, Izza there in third, Nathan there in fourth. Nathan, to be honest, has not had the pace so far. Yes, he's got more battery than Izza and Campbell at this stage. Campbell on 22%, Izza on 52%, so actually he's got a little bit more than Nathan. Nathan, though, I've done that sort of medium compounded tyres. You mentioned a little bit earlier on, they're a bit of a halfway house, and it doesn't seem that the hards and the mediums have got any sort of time differentiation between them both, because Nathan, I would have said, probably would have been second, probably would have been pulling away from Campbell and Izza at this stage.
It's hard to tell. It's difficult to know. We've got a yellow flag. That is Pease. That Pease again?
Yeah.
Pease again at turn 1 and 2. Yeah, it's difficult to gauge what to really expect from Nathan. He's only just come up from D2, but then we know he had an outstanding season last season 7 on the last game with those 4 race wins I mentioned. So I'm not too sure really what to expect from Nathan in this race. He's on the mediums. I thought he'd be close to the back of Izzat and Campbell, a bit like you, but also he's sitting nicely in the train. He's just hogging the DRS, and he's probably going quicker because of that DRS than he would have been if he tried to push out in front. So I think he's probably making the best of his situation right now.
Yeah, maybe he's trying to hold them back on the tyres as well, potentially. Overcut is a lot more potent than the undercut around here. Lolvacar, by the way, in terms of his progress, he's gained about a second on the back of Dylan. Obviously, that is going to extend as the session goes on, and obviously as the race goes on, the more laps that is completed for Lolvacar, the more that, of course, he will gain on the back. And a pit stop around here is somewhere around 30 seconds, around that sort of mark, 28, 29, 30 seconds, around that sort of mark. Gap between Montana and Lolvacar, 35 seconds. Keep that in mind for when Montana comes in the pit lane, which I would assume is going to be after the halfway stage around lap 15 or 16. There's a battle further down the field as well. The Portuguese man of Maledictus on the back of Rocco, 9th and 10th position. And Rocco now losing the back of Wout, who's now latch onto the back of Rudy. And that could be an interesting battle between the Relentless man and the Talon Factory man, of course. And Pease is retired, coming into the pit lane. That is him done in terms of the race here tonight. So Pease there out of the session. Montana leading the way, 5 seconds now the gap over Campbell. Is it there in third, Nathan in fourth, Yildirim there in fifth. Wouter, though, may be looking to try and get this move done on Rudy sooner rather than later.
Yeah, he needs to get it done. I think Wouter's got the pace to catch up to Yildirim, push up the back of Yildirim and Jerome, and get back into that train. But he needs to dispatch Rudy fairly quickly. Rudy's not looked super quick so far today, although he has recovered well from his qualifying ban, of course, but he's not on the pace of those ahead of him. Yellow flag, just Pease coming out of the pit lane there. I have to say, that's unexpected. Penalty for Montana. I was just about to say, I've been a little bit disappointed, actually, or rather impressed with Montana, because I thought we'd be at the point in the race now where those hards of Campbell and that would be starting to just claw that gap back a little bit. But Montana's happily still pulling away, 5.1 now. And unless we see a safety car or a mistake from Montana, even with the 3-second penalty, I can't see this that lead being undone. As there goes Wouter, predictably so, past Rudy into Stowe for P7. That was textbook.
And Maledictus tries to go around the outside of Rocco, just in behind this as well. Not going to get the move done though, coming through Stowe. He's on the back though of Rocco, coming on towards the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight, of course, down in towards turn 1 at Abbey, and then through turn 2 at Farm. Montana though leading the way, 5.2 seconds. This is why I honestly question drivers starting on that set of hard compound tyres. I've done commentary around here on this game. Mediums are a lot better in the first phase of the race than the hard compound tyres. Montana has banked on that, and Montana has banked on that completely well, and he knows, obviously, he's very experienced as a league racer. 5.3 seconds. This, honestly, if I've got to be a steward looking on here, this is the ultimate shut up and let me drive sort of phrase here for Montana, because he's leading the way, 5.3 seconds, getting on about his job. Campbell there in second and Isman third. They have two very quick drivers on their day, being made to look pretty much inferior, I think, to Montana on that set of mediums, and still the gap extends to 0.3 a lap.
Yeah, there's two races going on here. There's Montana and his personal playground, and then there's everybody else behind him. But I think, I mean, Montana, he'll aim to make people shut up, and he's having a great performance after the difficult one he had at Singapore last week. But also it plays up to what we kind of said before we went on air, that Montana's happy and he's great when he's winning, and he does tend to win from the front. I want to see Montana. I want to see Montana get a random qualifying ban and just see how he does. He'll probably still win the race, but I'd like to see Montana in that situation, because we saw him at Singapore, and there was some. Well, people either would not get out of his way like Coxie. We saw a bit of elbow grease and bargy, or people were all too eager to jump out of his way because he's NSX Montana. I'd love to see the whole field just give him the hardest time possible to see how he gets on. I'm sure he'll still win, but it'd be nice to see nonetheless.
Yeah, obviously going back to the sort of Alpha Tricks Louis battle, Season 3, I remember these two going at it, and obviously Montana was in that season, and then he finished third, and it was obviously a bit of a shock, because we thought he was actually invincible here in League of Europe. I certainly thought he was invincible at that time. My second season, by the way, commentating then, now my 7th season, Montana's won 4 League of Europe championships, potentially going on for 5th here as well. And then you've got, obviously, up-and-coming names, the likes of Campbell, the likes of Izza, the likes of Nathan, chasing them down. Montana has looked so far imperious out on track, and he might look to actually become part of Imperium in terms of the WWE franchise, of course, as Yildirim on the back of Nathan, who's just picked up a 3-second penalty. The Haasman now on the back of the Williams, looking to try and provide a good result, of course, for the Haas boys. 0.4 of a second behind. The German coming storming down on the back of Nathan. Nathan clearly running more cornering setup. Yildirim clearly running more straight line speed setup, as proven there by the slight bit of ERS that he used up on the X of the Chapel. And Yildirim is actually in the pits as Nathan comes in as well. So there, 10 laps on a set of medium compounded tyres. They come in, going on that set of hard compounded tyres. They're obviously going to be well behind Lolvacar, because Lolvacar is coming through Maggots and Beckett. 11.1 seconds. The gap has closed 5 seconds since I last mentioned the time between himself and Montana, certainly. I'm just having a look at the interval timing, if I can actually get it up. There's the gap to the leader, 36.5 seconds. So in actual fact, Montana, on that set of mediums, is still pulling away from Lolvacar, even though Lolvacar is on 5 lap pressure tyres than them. Absolutely just comes to show that he is an alien out on track, as Nathan and Yildirim are going to be side by side with Lolvacar coming out the pit lane here.
They are indeed. Let's see where they are. If Lolvacar can get past these guys, because they're going to be on very gatey tyres, though. They're not going to want to bite into the track. Lolvacar's going to have so much more grip and traction. He can send it here into turn 4. He needed to make that move done, and he could have. Well, the hard tyres are so bad through there that you can't normally make a send, but you can when they've just come out of the pits. Look at Nathan ahead, weaving, trying to get some temperature. He's not trying to block Lolvacar. He's just trying to get some temperature into the tyre. And look, he doesn't want to turn into Brooklands at all. He's so slow. Lolvacar could probably send this all the way around the outside, or tuck back under perhaps through Woodcut and get a move done into Cops. And look at the better exit he's got. Nathan's got not too much to defend with him, but he's going to squeeze Lolvacar all the way to the old pit wall, but he hangs on just enough. And now it's going to be very difficult for Lolvacar to force a move through the next couple of corners. His next chance
no way. No way, here comes it back into Beckett around the outside, goes Lolvacar. This will be an unbelievable move, he can pull it off. Nathan gives him absolutely no room at all. What a battle that is, though, between them both. Nathan and Lolvacar now down the straight. Lolvacar surely going to get this job done. Nathan is using up that battery to really full effect, and he hangs on. Nathan hangs hangs on 11th position. Lulvacar in 12th, trying to outmuscle him around the outside of Maggots and Beckett. Nearly got the job done for 90% of that move. I thought it was on. Nathan though in 11th, Lulvacar in 12th, Yulbream there in 13th, probably just witnessing what on earth have I just seen. Nathan and Lulvacar, tip my hat off to you both. What a battle that was coming down to Maggots and Beckett. That was racing.
It was Lulvacar shutting me up and saying his next chance will be at Stowe. Immediately sends it into Maggots and Beckett. Fabulous stuff. Nathan gave him a little bit of a shove. Didn't fancy getting mugged off through Chapel. And, well, they did very well to keep themselves off the grass there. And Yulbream will be thinking, why couldn't you have crashed? I could have made a couple of overtakes up there. I think the mediums are just starting to wilt for a bit. I think that's why we saw Nathan pick up that penalty before the stops. Campbell is catching Montana now, although by a minuscule incremental amount. So I think the mediums have passed their best now. I think Montana could be coming into the pits, yeah, and he is.
He is indeed. Nolan, by the way, there in the chat, I'm just seeing on my end, certainly on the laptop, saying class driving from Nathan, that fair play, and also saying if Montana is not first, he puts you in a wall. It's that simple. To be honest, I kind of agree with that comment, to be honest, but Montana leads the way. Campbell in second, Izza there in third, Jeroen in fourth, Wouter there in fifth. Of course, all the guys in the sort of hard companions cars are going to be pitting in later on. Nathan and Lulvacar once again all about to do battle, but watch out for Yulbream in behind. Yulbream, as I say, has got the straight line speed to try and get past these both. He's not obviously going to close in on the back of Lulvacar and Nathan this time around, but Yulbream seems to me, if he's the quicker guy out of these three, is he going to match up Lulvacar in towards Vale? Yes, he is, down the inside line, coming through Vale, now for the switch back out to the club corner. He's on the inside line, and do you know what? He's going to get his car alongside, now side by side, down the hangers, down the home straight, down the St. Lewis Hamilton straight, and he gets the job done. Down through Abbey, in towards turn 1, gets the job done, through into 12, and Lulvacar now down in 13th, and Lulvacar, from looking like the quickest man out on track, now, no more, as Yulbream was out-schooled him through turn 1.
Yeah, that was beautiful racing from both involved, but yeah, Yulbream cracking overtake there. I think Lulvacar's thinking was, we've backed off enough here from Nathan that I can let him go, get DRS, and then Yulbream in the end was within a couple of hundredths of the second he needed, and had the DRS to defend down the Wellington straight. So I think Lulvacar sort of cut off his nose to spite his face a little bit there, down the main straight, because he did lift off out of the last corner. He let Yulbream go and then nearly hit him, actually, for good measure, in the back into turn 1. Coxey, meanwhile, was, you'll remember, when he came out of the pits, side by side with Lulvacar, has dropped off by 4 seconds. And now we've got all of our hard runners up front coming into the pits. Izzat's in, Jerome's in, although Campbell continues.
Montana 7 seconds to Nathan. Izza's obviously going to come out around about 5.5 seconds behind. Do you know what? If I was in Nathan and Yulbream's shoes, I'd be thinking this is going to be quite close between the medium runners coming out the pit lane, because Jeroen also in the pits. Maledictus and J. Cole, you can probably factor out of that battle for now. They're going to probably come out behind. But Izza and Jeroen, where are Lulvacar and the likes coming? They're coming out the final corner now. They're going to be well ahead for now, coming out the pit lane. They're at the end of the pit lane just about now, on the exit of the pit lane. Izza's ahead, Jeroen is ahead, and I think they're going to probably stay ahead as well. They're on that side of medium compound tyres. But there is Nathan coming through turn number 1. He's going to be less than a second off coming in towards Village in the loop. He might just think about going for a move down into Brooklands here.
I think he's a little bit too far back, and once those mediums are up to temperature, I think those guys, Nathan did so well in the first stint, but I think Jeroen weaving there trying to get some temp. I think once they're up to temperature, they will drop Nathan potentially. I think also Jeroen's had a bit of a stinker there, weaving down the straight. He's cost himself 2 or 3 tenths, and in the process, Izzat's checked out by about 1.8 seconds. So now Izzat is comfortably all by himself now. He's dumped Jeroen, thanks to Jeroen's weaving, and Jeroen has put himself right into the clutches of Nathan, Yulbream and Lulvacar when he really didn't need to as much as he did. You lose so much time by weaving, and the mediums have a much shorter warm-up anyway, so I'm not so sure what Jeroen was thinking there, but he's cost himself a little bit.
Yeah, Nathan, by the way, I think Mr. Gear coming through Cop's Corner, just before Cop's Corner, he's on the back of the Jeroen still, but he has cost himself about a tenth, maybe even 2 tenths per second there, as a result of that missed gear, and that just forces Jeroen obviously to pull away on that set of medium compound tyres as well. Rocco Reggie for real now enters the pit lane as well. first full name check there for Rocco since his back change into his old name. Campbell though leading the way, Wouter in second, Rudy in third there. I think going to go to a set of soft compound tyres potentially towards the end. They can last 8 or more laps if they are very good on their tyres. And Rocco, by the way, is going to be coming out of the pit lane, maybe side by side with Coxie coming out of the pit lane. This could be quite interesting. The Mercedes man and the relentless man, of course, for Coxie. I think Coxie's going to get the job done. And in fact, around the outside of turn number 1, Rocco and he spins coming out the pit lane. Doesn't want to be doing that. And now Maledictus and Jacob are going to join in that fight as well, potentially. I think they're just going to be out of DRS range, though, this time around. Montana, by the way, 4.7 seconds is it for now, catching around 3/4 tenths a lap on the back of Montana, who is held up by Dylan in front. Are the sister cars going to play ball here? And is the Red Bull certainly going to play ball on the back of Montana? I think, though, this is going to look in towards maybe Stowe, 10-15. There should be job done for Montana.
I think it should be, but I don't think Dylan will be inclined to play ball at all. He can help Campbell win a race here. I mean, we shouldn't have Interconstructor helping as Campbell comes into the pits. But Montana needs to be wary. He's got a 3-second penalty. That's catching him significantly. He's losing more time on this lap. Dylan's using all of his ERS to defend here. He does not want to let Montana through at all. Montana's going to go up the inside. He's going to get the move done. But Dylan did not want to let that move go if he had to. But he's now going to come into the pit lane. And Campbell and Wouter in. Where's Campbell going to come out in relation to Isaac and Giroud and Nathan?
I think Campbell may be side by side with Isaac coming out the pit lane here potentially. Campbell has done an overcut. Actually, that has worked, I think, potentially coming out the pit lane here. There is Izza on the exit of the pit lane now. Campbell on the exit of the pit lane. This is going to be side by side, potentially coming out of turn number 1. Campbell a little bit sideways, and Izza's ahead. Izza ahead of Campbell, who had a big snap of Overseer on the exit of the pit lane. Yaron is now in the fight as well. These medium runners, though, if I was Izza, I'd be letting Campbell through immediately to try and obviously bring down that gap. He's on cold tyres for now. Once they're up to temperature, and once Yaron, hopefully he doesn't pass him here. Once Yaron is going to try now and get the move done on Campbell down the inside line in towards Brooklands. Should be the job done for the Mercedes man, and he's through, and he's into 4th position. So exactly what I said wasn't going to come true has just come true. Yaron there in 4th, Campbell there in 5th. But if I was these guys, I'd be relying more on Campbell to do more of the donkey work. I'd realise I've got the pace all on that set of medium compound tyres. Izza, though, to be fair, closes down another 4 tenths of a second, and it's now 3.8 coming out of Cox.
Yeah, Campbell's problem was the warm-up, so he would have come out within 8-9 tenths of Isaac, but it would have been then another half a lap till we get to around Magnus and Beckett's where we are now, that his tyres come into play. That's why I don't think he fought Giroud too hard. Rudy Pitts from the lead, had a qualifying ban, of course, started in 19th place. But now Campbell has got a chance to close back towards Giroud. And Giroud, hopefully, he did, after he got clear of Nathan, he did pull back towards Isaac by a few tenths. It was 1.8, you remember. It's now 1.3. And if these guys do close back up into a train, they can really work together. And there's certainly a chance here that they can get the second they need for at least one of them to nab Montana. But they need to get a push on. They can't let the gap stay at 4 seconds for too long, because those mediums will go off before the end of the race.
Yeah, there's 4 seconds the gap, and honestly, I think Izza's strongest point is that middle sector, where it's more technical, where there's more corners. Montana, I think, is more straight line speed sort of potentially. Or Yaron has a big snap of Overseer coming out of Aintree, and now down the straight. This should be easy for Campbell. Campbell got overtaken this time around last time, and now Campbell through, and he's into 3rd position. Yaron there down in 4th, and now exactly what I wanted might just happen now. Campbell there ahead of Yaron, and Nathan Yildirim and Wolvercore are trying to streak into the fight as well. The Williams man dragging along Yildirim and Wolvercore. Of course, Nathan and Yildirim and Wolvercore on that set of hard compound tyres. Wolvercore, to be fair, doing a good job. He's 4 tenths obviously off the back of Yildirim. He hasn't lost contact to the back of Yildirim and Nathan. They're on quicker tyres. Wouter, though, is going to join this fight, and if I was in all the car shoes, I'd be relying more on these guys up in their pace rather than Wouter catching me, because if I was under pressure from Wouter, I'd realise the commenters has just picked up a 3-second penalty. I'd realise that I come into real deep trouble, and that DRS train is the only thing that's going to keep him outside of a second for now.
I think if I was Lulka, how I'd want to play this with 10 laps to go, although 9 about as Montana crosses the line. What I'd want to do is I want to get between Gilbream and Nathan. So nab Gilbream if I can, because Gilbream's not got a penalty. Nathan has. And then I can defend from Wouter and Rudy and potentially Rocco on the medium tyres just by sitting in Nathan's DRS. Build up my sit in Nathan's DRS. I've got DRS, so Wouter's got nothing really to attack me with. And I've got Gilbream behind me as an extra buffer in the meantime. We've got a yellow flag. That is Connor has spun that coming out of the last corner there.
J. Cole on the back of Coxie as well. Coxie just been overtaken by Maledictus, and if I was J. Cole, I'd be urging him to get out of the way at this point because he is very much quicker than Coxie at this stage. Is J. Cole, of course, with a very good qualifying session. I think qualified 9th in the end. Down there in 13th, of course. Everyone's made their pit stops. Lovico obviously with a big undercut out of everyone on this race, but there. Jekyll in 13th, on the back of Coxie there in 12th, Maledictus in 11th, and Rocco there in 10th. They're all fighting out for those last few points. Yildirim on the back of Nathan, getting very close. Down through Cop's corner. Nathan once again, though, much better in terms of cornering speed. I think Yildirim knows all over the back of him and maybe going to go for a move this time around. One lap, 18 out of 26, so 7.5 laps basically to go. As Commentalist is out of the session. That is retiring though into the pit lane. So Commentalist all the way down the field. Good qualifying from the session from him. Hasn't gone necessarily well in the race. Here comes Yildirim on the back of Nathan. Closing in the Hassman on the back of the Williams. Surely got to try and go for the move, but he doesn't, and Nathan hangs on just for now.
Yeah, I think maybe Yildirim is what I was thinking Lelvacar should do. He's just being conscious of the fact that Wouter and Rudy are behind. He knows he's got probably Nathan on strings. He can make this move on lap 24, lap 25, and just use Nathan as a buffer to protect himself with the DRS from Wouter or Rudy. Or maybe I'm overthinking it, quite possibly. And I think we're going to see an overtake for P2, quite possibly, James, into Brooklands this lap.
Yeah, been running on board with Campbell. It was 3/10 from across the line, now out of 5/10, and I think Izza's going to hold on for now. Campbell, 14% worth of battery. Izza, at the moment, 38% of battery, so it's really a no contest between them. Your own as well, on less ERS than Campbell. Currently, Izza holding the fort and holding the keys to that fort there in second position, and obviously trying to close in on Montana while doing so, but I think Montana 9/10 basically is the buffer that he's got over Izza at this stage. Izza's size is now beginning to go off slightly, so the hards are obviously going to start coming into play. Montana, I think, is just going to try and eke away potentially from the guys in that set of medium compound side. Yildirim a lot more committed coming through Cop's corner there compared to last time around. Nathan is in front of him currently at this stage, and Olverkov is not entirely out of the mix. They've enjoyed, though, Wouter and Rudy into the mix as well, and those guys in the centre medium going to be a lot quicker coming through Maggots and Beckett's. Olverkov's all over the back of Yildirim, nearly doing a bit of lawn mowing on the exit there of Chapel, and now Wouter on the back of him running down the straight. Nobody's going to be quite close enough for a move, I don't think. Montana still holds the lead, 4.1 seconds over Izza. Campbell there in third, Yerone in fourth. But quite a few battles now beginning to spawn up, which is really good to see. Maledictus and Rocco was another battle, and they've actually pulled away from Jekyll and Coxie.
It's mad, isn't it, that this is, I think, probably the first... Oh, I'm going to interrupt myself, because look at Lolvacar through Yildirim, through the last corner, and Wouter's pulling out as well. I think I just got a little bit of a lag spike there, but Wouter nearly pushing that Aston Martin through the first couple of corners. I was going to say, it's nice, we had a D1 race without safety cars, and we've still got some cracking we're action as well. We're requiring some rain or something like we had at Imola. We had a dead first half of that race, and it took safety cars and rain to spice it up. Singapore, we had we had some nice on-track action there. We had some lovely round the outside overtakes. We could see another one here anytime soon. I'm getting some lag because I'm seeing Yildirim and Lolvacar going straight off the track.
Yeah, you're not lagging for me, certainly on Discord. I think it might be just game-related, potentially. Oh, you've left the session. No wonder. And Wouter on the back of Lolvacar, though, still. So we still go on board with our action that we've got. Montana leading the way. Izza in second. Campbell there in third. Going to flick on board with Campbell because it's 3/10 away on the back of Izza. Coming through Maggots and Beckett. Izza, though, probably going to be a lot quicker on the exit here. Campbell, though, to be fair, quicker. And now he's going to launch an attack down in towards Stowe corner at 10:15. But with the battery and with the D-rating down the straight, he is not close enough, and he remains currently in third position. Lovicar once again on the back of Yildirim, Wouter, Rudy. They're all in a big old train for that fifth position behind Nathan, but they're still not getting any moves done. So you're not really missing much at this stage. Killer, can you get back in the lobby, by the way?
Restarting my game, so I'm joining now. I've got an invite, so I should be fine. I should.
Should be fine. You like that slightly on Discord, so hopefully that is going to be okay as we go through the session. We've got 5.5 laps remaining. Montana leads the way. Izza in second. Campbell there in third, and Campbell on the back of Izza, coming through the left-hander then of Village, through Loop, and then through Aintree Corner. And do you know what? Campbell's this close on the back of Izza, but again, he's not going to be close enough down towards Brooklands, and he's going to remain there for now. If I was in Campbell's shoes, I'd be relying, obviously, to try and get to the end of the race and try and save my battery while doing so as well. He's only got 13% of battery. Izza's got 32% of battery. If I was Campbell, I'd be lifting closing through every single corner I could, potentially, to try and, obviously, get the move done on Izza. But this time around, looking a lot quicker down the straight. Another one that potentially has got more straight line speed set up compared to, obviously, the cornering setup that we think Izza has got there in second as well. Nathan, Yildirim, Wolvercore, Wouter, Rudy still in that battle as well. We're going both of them shortly as Campbell on the back of Izza. Coming out now, shooting, this is going to be job done. As actually I get a bit of a lag spike there as we now are back as Campbell's going to go for the move on the back of Izza to the inside line. Should be job done. Campbell through and he's into second. Walters down the inside in towards Cops. Izza there though has got more battery than him and can obviously attack towards the end of the race as well. And speaking of attacks, Yildirim on the back of Nathan coming out of Stowe. Very close indeed. Montana though leads the way. Campbell there in second. Izza there in third. Lap 23 out of 26. Sorry, lap 22 out of 26. Just beginning to get going. Goodness me, I'm a little bit conscious as I think, have you joined the session?
I'm not able to get back in, so we're relying on you, I'm afraid, James.
That is perfectly fine. We can take you through the action. Hopefully it doesn't happen to me. Otherwise, the stream will be going down completely. Montana leads the way. Campbell in second. Izza there in third. Izza again. Just holding off the back of Campbell. Liking what he's doing at this stage. Yildirim on the back of Nathan. Looking quite close. No battery being used up here from the German. And on the back running down the straight. Obviously not going to be quite close enough. Watch out for Wouter though. It's all beginning to split up potentially slightly in this 5th and 6th position. Yildirim obviously there on the back of Nathan. Wouter there on the back of Wolvercore. And if I was in Wouter's shoes, I'd be wanting to get this move done on Wolvercore immediately because Wolvercore's got more battery. Wouter though has got more pace. He's got those ties. He's got those mediums going to come into play towards the end of the race. And do you know what? Even if there's a safety car late stage of this race, they're still alive with Montana leading the way. Campbell there in second. Izza there in third. And I think Discord potentially could be lagging, I think, in terms of the commentary here tonight. But Montana leading the way. Campbell there in second. Izza there in third. Hopefully not going down as we get to the end of this race. We can hang on for another 3.5 laps, surely. Montana leads the way. Campbell there in second. And then Izza currently there in third position as we now come through on board through the final couple of corners through Valen Club. Once again, Wouter on the back of all the car, 2.5 tenths away for 8th position. This is not really losing time now to the back of Campbell as well. Campbell there in second, Izza there in third. Doing a good job at this moment in time. Jow, by the way, in the comment section, apologies if I haven't been looking at the comment section. Nolan as well saying, seeing where Wolvercore is compared to Ryan just shows how fast Wolvercore is. Yeah, totally agree. Spaniard's doing a very good job out on track. And actually, he's going to come under pressure from Wouter, running down the running down the Wellington straight, I should say, in toward the left-hander of Brooklands. Not getting the move done there though, Wouter on the back of Wolvercore, as I believe my co-commentator has indeed left tonight. So you've only stuck with me. Hopefully though you don't mind though. And now Wouter once again on the back of Wolvercore, running down in towards Cop's corner. He's not going to think about going down the inside here, is he? Wouter down the inside of Wolvercore. 6 the nose in, Wolvercore goes out wide. He's going to get the exit, actually, Wouter on the back of Wolvercore, but he's not going to be quite close enough for this battle, and they're going to remain through maggots and backwards as they are. 7th and 8th position there for Wolvercore, and then Wouter there in 8th position. As I have had a look, yeah, Killer Blue saying he's restarting his routers, so that is what's going on there. Wouter under pressure though from Rudy. Rudy up the inside. Goodness me, where's he come from? Rudy now down the inside of Stowe. The Williams man down the inside line. How on earth has he got past? 1 gone, 2 gone. Rudy around the outside. The Talent Factory man doing his into 7th. That was absolutely incredible. The camera angles really didn't work that at all. He somehow saw a gap up the inside of Wolvercore down the straight, who in turn is up the inside of Wouter coming through Tunnel 1 at Abbey and Farm. This is all kicked off now between them guys. 8th and 9th position, 3 laps to go. Montana leads the way, Campbell in second, Izza in third. Wolvercore out muscling Wouter coming through Village, now into the loop. He's diving it down the inside, Wouter on the brakes. Wolvercore still side by side. Rudy, though, has perhaps proven to be, that might just be an overtake of the season running through Stowe. That was unbelievable from the Dutchman. He is through and he's into 7th. And now the other Dutchman, Wouter, getting overtaken by Wolvercore. Hard on the brakes in towards Brooklands. The Aston Martin, the Ferrari, no courses given here in Britain at Silverstone. Wouter hangs on to 8th. Wolvercore down to 9th. Fair play from them, guys. And Rudy's now on the back of Yildirim as a result. Absolutely incredible racing. Montana leads the way though. Campbell in second. Izza there in third. And with only 2.5 laps to go, that now remains the VSC, and the safety car, of course, will not be coming out on track as a result. So we are now pretty much flat out to the checkered flag, and hopefully it's going to be a really good race, the checkered flag as well. That was an incredible battle, though, from Outer and Rudy. Rudy, though, absolutely outgunned them. How on earth he got through there? It was a Hamilton goes through moment, quite literally, in the chat. I think it was Nolan saying that in the chat, or Mark certainly. Rudy on the back now of Yildirim and Nathan. He has just come alive in these final couple of laps of the race. Normally quite strong, Rudy has been a little bit under pressure, obviously with that qualifying ban. Now making up for lost time, now making it up into 7th position. And do you know what? He's got Nathan and Yildirim right in his sights, coming in toward the village and the loop section. Montana, though, putting out the gap now to Campbell. It's 4 seconds over Campbell. Izzo, I fear, is not going to get the move done on Campbell before the end of this race either. He has got more battery still than him, I believe. Rudy, though, on the back of Yildirim, running down the straight. He's going to all commit on the final lap of the race. The Williams van potentially on the back there. But Montana leads the way. Campbell in second, Izzo in third, Jeroen there in fourth. As I say, Rudy, I think, has maybe just produced overtake of the season as a result of that move down the inside line, pretty much on the grass. That is how good it was. Just near to the grass, gets the job done, somehow saw a gap on Mulvicar, and then somehow dived it down the inside line, try and get the move done, and then eventually get the move done down in toward Brooklands. And Rudy there, of course, is on the back of Yildirim. Is now falling behind Campbell. I fear Campbell is going to be in second here. Is going to come under attack from Jeroen toward the end of the race as well. Here comes Rudy, though, on the back of Yildirim. He's not going to do it again. Is he on the back, running down in towards Stowe? Rudy's normally late on the brakes. Is he going to commit down the inside line? You bet he will. Down the inside line of Yildirim, coming through Stowe. Rudy on for a drive of the day performance now. Around the outside in toward Baylan Club. So much later on the brakes. Beautiful move around the outside. Rudy is an overtaking machine out on track. He's through and he's into 6th. Nathan there under pressure in 5th. Williams against Williams on the final lap of the race. Oh, how Frank Williams would be looking down on this and absolutely wetting himself at the action here. Montana leads the way. Campbell in second, Izzo in third, but the battle is on for this 5th position. Nathan, of course, has got a 3-second penalty. Rudy and Yildirim don't, so they are actually fighting for that track position as a result. Rudy, I don't think is going to be close enough to Nathan. Obviously, will want to try and get the job done out on track. Yildirim, though, quite quick down the straight line speed. On the back of Rudy, running down in towards Brooklands once again. But they remain as they are, as Izzo tries to close down on Campbell. He's left it too late. He's got no battery left at all. Montana coming through the final couple of corners in what has been a very historic week, of course, here in the UK for many different reasons. Pease has just left the session there as well, but it has been a very historic race here at Silverstone. Montana absolutely centred about on the first lap of the race, the second and a half clear, and from that point he has not looked onwards at this stage as Montana now comes through Stowe Corner for the final time. I'm looking at the track map as Rudy tries to close in on the back of Nathan. I don't think he's going to be quite close enough. This is Rudy, though, that we're talking about. Montana on the run to the line for the British Grand Prix, takes the win here at Silverstone. Campbell there in second, but Rudy has actually got the move done on the back of Nathan, who tries to fight hard, but Rudy's through and he's into 5th. We missed that move, but it was down the inside in towards Stowe. Got the job done, and Rudy's going to pick up a very good 5th position. He will get driver of the day, I'm sure, from myself. Montana, though, takes the win, a 1.7 second win over Campbell there in second. Izzo there in third. And that was, as I said a little bit earlier on, the ultimate shut up and let me drive comment there for Montana. He drove, he made everyone shut up, and that is why you do not discount a fallen warrior out on track. It is Montana that takes the win, and even better so, Connor's having a battle with Verstappen for the wooden spoon, and this is going to be right up the Swiss man's street as Connor flies by on Verstappen. Package to the line there is going to finish as well in 15th. And do you know what? Connor, if he was given another lap, probably would be gaining on the back of Packer, who was actually just spun coming out of Stowe Corner there. So Packer there down in 17th, and now Connor coming to line will pick up 15th position. Not his day at all after that turn 1 collision. Spins through the final corner on the run to the line. He finishes in that 15th position just about from Verstappen. And then Packer doing a full 360 toward the line as well. Well, 180. Don't give him really a 10 out of 10 for that, to be honest. But there finishes down in 17th position. Driver of the day. And what about the in-game fans? Is Rudy. Absolutely deserved. 19th on the grid, I believe. Up to 5th in the end. What a drive from Rudy. What an overtake that was down the hanger straight. And it was basically, as I said, a through goes Hamilton moment. But it was an unbelievable end to what has been an unbelievable week, of course, here in Britain for obvious reasons. That, I think, just tops my whole week. Brilliant racing here. And once again, Montana to the top step of the podium, blows kisses to everyone as a heartfelt tribute, I would imagine, as he takes the top step of the podium there. And Montana, once again, is invincible in Britain. And of course, big shout out to the guys who finished in second and third. Campbell, of course, finishing in second, pulled away as a result of that move 5 laps before the end of the race on the back of Izza. Izza there finishing in third, drove a very, very astute race, of course, for the Singaporean driver. But the Swiss man defeats the King of Scots and then defeats, of course, the Singaporean for third position. Montana, though, wins from Campbell there in second, Izza there in third, Jeroen in fourth. As I say, Rudy 19th on the grid, up to fifth. My driver of the day, especially after that last few laps. Yildirim there in sixth, Wouter there in seventh, Nathan there in eighth. Unfortunately for him, down in eighth position. He had the pace here tonight. Lovacar in ninth, Rocco in 10th, Maledictus in 11th. Jacob does pick up points, only 1 point at the end, down there in 12th position. Dylan, Coxey, Connor, top 15, along with Verstappen and Packer, who also finished. Commentatus, unfortunately, down there in 18th. Pease down in 19th, and Forza Brendan down in 20th position. And he made a comment, I think, in the Discord saying that he absolutely hates this game. And unfortunately for him, the Irishman does not come out on top here tonight. And, of course, finishes down in 20th position. Montana takes the win, though. Campbell there in second. We will seek to try. I will seek to try and certainly get the top 3 in. I'm not sure if there's anybody in the waiting room. Yes, there is indeed. We are now going to bring in the man, the myth, the perhaps legend, as we now come into the commentary box with NSX Montana taking that race win. And as I said in commentary, Montana, that was the ultimate shut up and let me drive.
Well, I don't know if it's a win yet. Stewart's reports are still pending, but yeah, unexpected on the worst track for me, but we take this.
Yeah, take it indeed. Talk us through the first lap of the race, because it looked like everything happened behind you. I think Connor and Izza and Wouter all got involved in a 3-wide situation out of turn number 1. By the end of lap 1, you were a second and a half clear. You didn't look back, I think, from then on.
Yeah, I outstarted everyone again with my class, aka my PlayStation 5 and 10 gigabit connection. So yeah, I made it easier. Wasn't mediums, just pulled away. Didn't have to waste DRS pulling out the DRS window, and obviously Connor not being there made it easy because he had the pace over me all week long again in practice. So I was kind of expecting P2, P3 max, and also my quali time is not pole worthy. So yeah, a bit lucky this week. Important one, take it, to get some of the points back.
Yeah, I think now, in terms of the point system as well, you are 79 points clear of Connor at the end, because Connor obviously picked up the fastest lap of the race, but I think he was outside the top 10, so I don't think he'll actually pick up that point outside the top 12 here in LOE. But that must fill you with a lot of confidence. You've got basically a 3-race gap. You may as well not attend the next 3 races and you'll still perhaps hold the championship lead. But talk us through for the rest of the season what your hopes and expectations actually are.
Well, to win each race I go into, that has to be the mindset. I don't know, from now on I should just shadow Connor and just copy whatever he does. Some not so good tracks coming up, I think, in the next couple of weeks. And I'm also on holiday, so I have to see if I make one race. But yeah, some good tracks at the end, so just want to enjoy qualifying really. And yeah, just scoring points consistently and keeping my podium streak going, of scoring a podium in each race of the season.
Yeah, definitely so. And obviously, if you are going to be racing next week in France, how do you think you're going to get on around there?
Well, if I don't run my twin tower wings again in France like in pre-season, I should be fine. I have to see how I can come up with something special, but yeah, sprint weekend doesn't make it easier for me.
Yeah, sprint weekend indeed, of course, next week, I believe, in France as well. But Montana absolutely shut up, I think, the stewards in terms of the racing out on track tonight. Of course, as you say, the steward reports are still outstanding. I think you're definitely the race winner, though. Go and enjoy your evening.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the comments. Appreciate it, James.
You are very welcome indeed, as always. And we now speak to the man, of course, who finished in P2 in the end. It is Mr. Kvyat Campbell. And Campbell, even though that man ahead of you got around 5 seconds clear towards the end of the race, you still must be happy with P2.
Yeah, can you hear me fine? Just checking. Yeah.
I can hear you fine. Yep.
Yeah, right, that's good. Yeah, I've tried. I've had to push a lot at the end. Was hoping I could maybe get a bit more. Hope the tyres would do a bit more for me because I needed it to get within the penalty range of them. But look, it is what it is. I messed up qualifying a bit. I should have been front row, but I mean, it is what it is. I don't think it would have changed much in the end result, but yeah, I mean, congrats to Montana. He's on a different level. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm happy with the result though. First on-track podium of the season, so.
Yeah, certainly well deserved, I think, in terms of your actual pace as well. You made the move with Izza, I think, 5 or 6 laps before the end of the race. Was that an actual intentional move, and were you expecting them to come back at you in the final few laps?
Yes, I wanted to get by just to see if I had the pace to maybe leapfrog into Montana's penalty range, but yeah, that didn't come to fruition in the end. But yeah, I didn't expect him to come back, mainly because my tyres were 2 laps fresher. And the wear is quite high, at least for me it was. I don't know really about anyone else, but the wear felt really high. So I was happy to go run longer those 2 laps and then know I would be quick enough to stay ahead for the rest and just solely focus on trying to close down in front.
Yeah, definitely so. And talk us through, by the way, that qualifying lap that you put in as well, just before, obviously, I asked my final question towards you. Talk us through that qualifying lap, because I honestly thought you had pole position until the man who, of course, finished in P1 came along.
I mean, it was a good lap up until the last corner. I got a bit of a snap on the exit. I don't know if you caught it or not, but I was about a 10th up coming into the last chicane, maybe. Would have been very close for pole, I think. And with a snap, I lost maybe half a 10th, 3/4 of a 10th. But the lap was really good. Really didn't do much practice today either, so I'm happy to almost just turn the pace on like a switch today and be right up there.
Yeah, definitely so. And same question as I asked Montana, of course, France next week. How do you think you're going to get on around there?
I like the place. I've had decent pace in the past, so I'll give it a shot. See how it goes. Yeah, just hoping to start scoring big points now because having missed 2 races at the start of the season and just having some annoying starts to the races, but now hopefully this is the turning of a page and I can crack on and get some big point holes in.
Yeah, let's hope so. I think certainly there's a few tracks coming up in the calendar as well that I think you might favour, the likes of Belgium, the likes of Austria, who might favour in terms of your pace there as well. Go and enjoy your evening though, Campbell.
I will do, thank you.
You are very welcome indeed. Nolan is requesting if I can get Rudy into the commentary box. I will certainly try and get him in if I can. Nathan, though, was replying saying that he had a very good drive. I will ask Rudy if he does want to come in. I don't think we're going to get Izza into the commentary box. Give me a second. There we go. I've asked Rudy. If he doesn't reply in the next couple of minutes, then we will, of course, end the stream. But we will go through the calendar first and foremost. Of course, we've got France pretty much at the halfway stage of the season now next week. Of course, France next week on the 17th of September. Then, of course, we're in Australia on the 24th of September. So we're down under, of course, at the Albert Park Street Circuit. Hungary there on the 1st of October. Of course, by Campbell was partying alongside the likes of Lenny and the likes of Toxic, of course, early on for the real life Grand Prix. So maybe a little bit of partying potentially coming there in 2 weeks' time for Campbell. Azerbaijan there on the 8th of October. Then it's Belgium on the 15th, Austria on the 22nd of October. And then we have a week's break until Spain on the 5th of November. Maybe fireworks, as I say, with Bonfire Night coming up. Saudi Arabia on the 12th, Brazil on the 19th. And then ending off 2 days before my birthday, Abu Dhabi, which is going to be a very interesting race, of course, and that will be our traditional finale, of course, here tonight. And looking at the comments section as well on YouTube, Dario saying that was mad, and indeed was. Nolan saying it was mental. I think that was all about the Rudy move down the inside, getting 2 positions for the price of 1. And Nolan also says we want the league to carry on running. Speaking of the league carrying on running, though, we have got, of course, Division 2 and Division 4 going to be coming up for you at 8:10 UK time, so in around 20 minutes' time. So if you're bored of the coverage of Her Majesty the Queen, you can, of course, tune in for that at, of course, our love of motorsport, which I'm sure the Queen obviously well and dearly loved as well in terms of the action. I know I saw an interview with Jackie Stewart on TV yesterday here in the UK, and Jackie Stewart, of course, a legend of Formula One, and therefore, obviously, he is a very, very good, astute a very good driver, of course, and he was paying tribute to the Queen and obviously his several meetings with the Queen as well. And there's a really nice story. If you do want to have a look at that interview, I think it might be on the Sky News YouTube channel. If you do want to have a check in on that, on what Jackie Stewart had to say about Her Majesty the Queen. Verstappen saying he didn't even get a podium. I know he didn't even get a podium. He got my driver of the day, though, and that's why I'm asking him in. 19th up to 5th position, of course. Nolan saying he wants Rudy in the box. Is that not being in the comments box as good, or the stream is good for the stream? Trust me. Interesting. So I think Izza might be a little bit cursed in terms of his racing. Of course, Singapore last week, his home Grand Prix, and then Britain, of course, there this week, and then France, of course, next week. I don't think we're going to be getting Rudy in. I'm just checking the Division 1 chat. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get Rudy in here tonight, unfortunately. I know Nolan is probably hanging on for absolute dire straits in terms of this. But I think we are going to end off the stream here, of course. Big thank you to Killer Blue, who was in the comment box along with me. Did have a few technical issues towards the end of the race. He will catch him in Division 2 and hopefully going to be providing himself with another good performance, of course, here tonight in Britain. Division 2 and Division 4, as I say, coming up very shortly indeed for you in terms of the action in around 20 minutes' time. I'm just going to get up to see who is commentating. I think it's commentated and J. Cole for Division 2, and then it's Alt Maverick and Packer, I think, for Division 4. And I will just get the tweet up to confirm that, because I don't want to tell you wrong information on the channel. And yes, indeed, it is it's J. Cole and Verstappen, I should say, for Division 2, and then Packer and Alt Maverick for Division 4. Commenters, unfortunately, leaving the commentary box last week for the final time in League of Europe. If nobody knew that, then you've been living under a rock for the last week or so. But we're going to end it up for you. A big thank you, of course, to Montana and to Campbell for those interviews, as always. Much appreciated. A big thank you, of course, to Mr. Killer Blue for joining me in the commentary box. We're going to be back next week, of course. I better actually bring up my French. So, au revoir for now. But thank you so much for watching. And until